So welcome to the Red Couch. Today I have a very special guest who coincidentally happens also to be my neighbor. His name is Dion Beg. Dion was born actually in Fiji but grew up in Australia. He's the founder of Flow Coaching and Consulting, a very sought after speaker, and has given hundreds of presentations to various audiences, including at Harvard University. And he is my very special guest here this morning. He runs a very successful financial company specializing in helping regular families build real estate investment portfolios. He's been involved in transacting hundreds of deals amounting to over $500 million in real estate. So who knows, maybe by the end of this, he'll make me into a very, very wealthy man. And perhaps I'm hoping that will happen. How did you become aware of the whole Welcome Stamp initiative, and why were you looking for an adventure? Because you seem to me to be a very adventurous kind of person.
Yeah, sure. So imagine sitting in Canada in July, knowing that we've been through several months of homeschooling, right? So COVID has had its impact internationally, and different places have dealt with it differently. Where we were, our particular circumstances required us to homeschool our children. And so the summertime in Canada is wonderful, but knowing that there was a strong possibility that going into winter, we would also have to do this homeschooling, it was going to change the dynamics. So we started to ask that question, do we have the capabilities to go off and do something else, financially, physically, with our business as well? Is that something that we could manage? So we started, I guess, going into that looking space. And just as sort of we made that decision, a couple of our friends directed us to this ad that they'd seen on Facebook. And so I would say that the government here has done a good job of promoting that. And it was on our radar, and then some other people in our world started mentioning the same thing who weren't directly connected to us. So it took us down that path of exploring a little bit deeper. And the more we looked at it, the more it just made sense for us.
I know you do this coaching, and you've spoken to audiences around the world and so on, and you help people to build their portfolios and so on. Tell me a little bit more about your business and how it works.
We teach people how to access the equity in the homes that they've built to go off and build a portfolio, and our clients are based in Canada. Technology has allowed for so many things to happen that wouldn't have otherwise happened, right? And actually that was again a big deciding factor as to which Caribbean country we would move to, because we did our research and we discovered that that the Barbados internet system is amongst the best, or the best, in the Caribbean. And so that seamless type of connection is what is so important for the continuity of my business.
I want you to share with the audience also now the whole story of how you met my wife, right, and how we got connected as a family. Yeah. Well, I think you were in Art Splash or something.
Correct. I was sitting in Art Splash. We had just enjoyed a lovely breakfast there, and sitting with my family. But my wife and children had run around the back to go to the play area where the kids have a great time. And I'm just sitting there, having my coffee. And at the cash register, there's a lady in her mask, and it's always hard to read people behind a mask.
Yeah.
And so she's buying whatever she's buying, and she looks over and she looks directly at me, and in a way that, this person must know me from somewhere. And I'm like, and you know what happens in those situations? You're sitting there starting to sweat, saying to yourself, where did I meet this person? And how do I know them? And as it turns out, no, I had never met this person in my life. It's just that's the way that your wife Rita connects with people, which is as if they've always known her and she knows them from a long time ago. Yeah. So she walks over and says to me, "Do you live here?" And I said, "Well, I do now," and explained the welcome stamp situation, and she extended a gracious welcome. And she's sitting at my table, and I invited her to sit down because obviously this is an interesting person who's open and welcoming, and I'd love to learn more about her and the country, and who better to learn from than somebody who's connected in media. Right? Yeah. So that's how we made that connection. And I will say to you, and I've said this to you before, you got to be careful and tell your wife that maybe in Barbados this is cool, but in other countries she may be
might get human traffic. How are the girls enjoying their stay in Barbados?
As with any child, there'll always be a period of adjustment, right? And there'll always be this image that whatever's back home may be better. And all they remember is, the summertime or the year they had last year or the year before. But the truth is that back home things are not as wonderful as they have been here for us, even with lockdowns and volcano eruptions and tropical storms, hurricanes, 3 days power blackout. Even amongst all of those things, I believe we made the right choice. And for the vast majority of our time here, they're very happy.
What would you say to somebody who is looking at this now and thinking, Barbados?
Yeah, so there's a lot to consider, and obviously it comes down to your own personal circumstances. But if your circumstances allow for it, and you have this choice to travel and work overseas for an extended period of time, the reason that we chose Barbados was that internet connectivity, telecommunications connectivity, the fact that amongst Caribbean nations, Barbados is one of the safest countries from a crime rate perspective. But also there's a lot of opportunity in terms of establishing a real sense of community. This was one concern, feeling that we were coming here and potentially being outsiders. And look, the reality is you're always going to be split up in any country demographically. But there is a lot of acceptance from what I've found over here. People have been very welcoming of the fact that we've chosen this as our place to be. And they're very thankful for the fact that we're spending our money here, and we're very careful too about making sure that even though we could buy everything in one location, that we visit our local vendors and we give them what we can, even though it's 5 minutes of inconvenience. And actually what I'd like to just take the opportunity, if I could, just to say to anybody, in particular, I'm very interested in connecting with some entrepreneurs, be they welcome stampers like myself or local Asian business owners who are interested in maybe just getting together for a drink or a dinner, just sharing experience, again, like-minded people sharing the challenges of their day.
Yeah.
So if anybody would like to connect with me, you can just look me up on Facebook.
Where was it?
It'll be my name. You can Google me. It's a very unique name, Dion Beg. That's D-I-O-N. Last name is Beg, B-E-G. Yeah. And that's my name on Facebook. So yeah, feel free to connect if you'd like to have a drink one day or go out to dinner.
Dion Beg, thank you very much for being my very special guest here today, and now a friend, not just a guest, but a friend.